Everyone in the United States has to deal with the violence of drug culture on one level or another. The strangers who are capable of lashing out at us are often motivated by drug violence. In other words, domestic terror has become common, more and more common in the United States as a result of vultures like Ringo Starr and the rise of the British rock industry. Now, a very few people, understand the details of what rabid animals like King Crimson and Pink Floyd did to me personally. They, most people who hear me talk about it duck it by saying I'm not important enough, but I am. I'm symbolically um, uh, a child from America's victory at sea. My father was a radio room lieutenant in the Pacific War, and Yoko Ono targeted me. But the Holocaustal dimension of what Warhol's associates in New York did with Donald Trump and Clint Eastwood and some of the other powerful people around Reagan is a lot like climate change. I mean, it's a maelstrom that is so powerful that it sweeps aside bridges with floods. 300 people were killed in South Africa by a flood yesterday or today. And huge tornadoes come and sweep houses off the face of the earth in the Midwest. Ocean levels are going to rise, and coastal cities will be flooded. We have devastating droughts in the West and wildfires all over the world. People are being displaced, millions of people are being displaced. And so the power of the Beatles, although it's unnatural in the same way, is just as destructive. So when I say that one or two people understand and know what they did to me, it doesn't do anything against their typhoon of cruelty, sadism, lies, slanders, and unbelievable hate craft. It's not hard to. I pinched the nerve with Yoko Ono by exposing her partnership with Reagan and raised the temperature of relations with Peter Gabriel in Pittsburgh by showing very clearly not only that I had nothing to do with Lennon's checking out, but that the circumstances were arranged to make it look like he died when all he did was duck out with the help of his friends from Hollywood. The sort of approximately infinite universe double fantasy, where in the universe that we were fed by Trump's fake news machine, he, rest in peace. But really, he went off to Galt's Gulch in an Ayn Rand special operation, which was about other issues. And the projection on me was like I was just somebody who was caught in climate change. I mean, I didn't have anything to do with it, but I was destroyed by it. The people who contribute the least to climate change are the people who suffer the most. I was the person who least would have hurt John Lennon, and yet I suffered the most from his claim that he died, which was the way they stuck a needle into our history books and made a claim for their domination. And they've cheated me of my life and raped my friends, and they murdered 4 Kennedys. Yes, they murdered 4 Kennedys. It's easy to prove. I mean, I've talked to the federals about it. They can hardly deny it. They were privy to the murders as they were when they took place. And I had written a letter that was delivered with 2 murders, but I had also written to the federal the same day. So when they heard from me with a picture of Circe It was delivered with the murder of two Kennedys. So, I mean, they're not stupid. They're just bulletproof cover up operation that they're sharing plot with the hideous monger of hate, Ringo Starr. Now you can imagine, of course, the bellowing ghouls that come clawing out of the sidewalks. We love Ringo Starr, the way that fumes pour from volcanoes that erupt. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I had the least to do with it, but suffered the most. That's the way it is with climate change. It's a pretty good metaphor. So, in dealing with the hideous and the foul and the brutal and Nazi and the Axis and the obscene of the royalist class in the European Union, I was what they called a chosen brother in their letters, which ghoshly enough, they've never hidden their partnership with the people who wrote the letters. So the only explanation why would Ringo Starr not hide his partnership with the people who he wrote letters, who wrote letters, presumably are evidence in what Lennon did, or what happened to Lennon, what happened with Lennon, I should say, which were completely lost on me. Nobody thinks I understood them. They've said I should have understood them, which is a lie. I mean, nobody can understand them. They don't even pretend that they can understand them. So why should he explain partnership with them when nobody believes that they say what he claims they say? He he only claims they say what they say when it comes to me. When it comes to actually identifying what they say, he denies everything. So that's the nature of the bearded climate ogre. And he's criminally insane. He stalks everything I do. He's a cowardly, obsessive mastermind of pure hatred and evil, and he's allied to Putin. Trump, Ringo Starr, Oliver Stone, and Putin are in something known as the Ouspensky Circle. And what they did was basically CIA Kool-Aid of the sort that was handed out in Jonestown when it came to COVID. So that's what's going on. I mean, there's not very much I can do about it. I don't have any friends. I'll talk about Greta Thunberg. She's a part of the dastardly domestic terrorist system, and that she didn't deserve any of this. Was too young. She was born to be scalded and shocked by what happened. But they uploaded her into death row when she was just born, so that they could terrorize me, blame me, threaten her, blame me, and hold this sword of Damocles over her head, saying, "We did it to Cersei, so that's not for you." And one of the monsters behind this is Clarence Thomas. He played this same game with Midori Goto. The NAACP were Ripper Hattering, you know, chewing the carpet. Obama was and his wife were playing voodoo doctors, claiming that the spirits had said that the royal class wouldn't allow an East-West conversation between Jimmy Creary and Midori Goto, the saintly triple X goddess, the best of the best in pornography, hidden in Trump Tower. And they knocked out 911 and all that BS as part of a pussy ball game that they were playing called Two Virgins, which was clogged to the AIDS attack. So this is old stuff for Clarence Thomas and Boris Johnson. They threatened America with a nuclear attack, saying, "Oh no, this crowd of kiddies with HIV won't be satisfied until we get nuclear bombed in revenge for the spirit of Lenin, who's happily situated in Yasukuni Shrine, probably in a Pacific secret island off the coast of Tokyo, getting head right this minute." So what I'm driving at is that they're liars. They're cold-blooded liars. I had nothing to do with any of this stuff. And they invented the storyline that I was to blame so that they could prosecute a battle axe of revenge for Hiroshima against the United States. Clarence Thomas and Barack Obama were, yes, both party to this. And the way that they're treating the idea of me um, really admiring Greta Thunberg is telltale in the whole thing. They're angling from all sorts of criminal directions about that. You get all sorts of evil. It's pure evil. Ringo Starr is one of the most odious, evil people who I think probably goes back to, the, the medieval days. There weren't people as crooked and salivatingly, droolingly odious, and he has a machine that's like the climate denial machine. It's like a climate denial machine. No matter how despicable, no matter how many people he ruins, no matter how many innocent lives are butchered by his cold blooded hatred for innocent people, that he just pulls out of a hat and says, I think I'll hate that one. Um, it's like it's like dealing with the raypoints of climate change. I mean, you can't do anything about it. I mean, you're just caught in its path. And the climate denial system is the same machine. Denial that the Beatles are evil, denial that climate is changing, denial that the last minute hope if we take action, denial, denial, denial. It's the big brainwashing machine of Pink Floyd. It's an apparatus, and everybody's loyalty is doctored psychologically to go immediately. If he's talking about them that way, then he must be the problem. And it's automatic, even though I'm not the problem. I have nothing to do with it. Nobody who has had contact with me has any reason to begrudge me. But they do things like poison me in the mouth. I'm the problem. They poison me in the mouth. They use a nerve agent on me when I'm just a little boy. I'm the problem. They bukkake me in my sleep when I was 9 years old after inviting me to a slum party. I'm the problem. They murder Cersei Kennedy. I'm the problem. I had nothing. They raped the girl who teaches me sign language. I'm the problem. They because I identify Ringo Starr and a salivating, sadistic Ripper Hatter, Peter Gabriel, and the monsters in Pink Floyd as Trumpy Timpanese, because that's what's really going on. I mean, you might as well get used to it. It's the Swansky circle. So, whatever you're going to do, or say, the bottom line is that that's where it really happened. John Lennon um, may as well be dead as far as I'm concerned, seeing as how much he decided to help the people who he claims killed him. I mean, he gave them 100% of his 100%, and these people killed him, and yet he's 100% behind. At the root of that is Robert Fripp's double fantasy that virginity causes rape. Ain't that something? Look at the loaded deck they play with. This is the content of the character they said. Implanted neuroplasm. Yeah, and they call themselves an honors club. Doesn't that make you at least laugh?